Alright, stream seems stable, so welcome once again to Sound Goblin Gaming, playing through Celesta Crown of the Magister. I am Vincent, person playing through a game.
I am Bugrat. I wasn't here last session, but it won't be the first time I have no idea what's going on. Just this time, it's not the game's fault.
I'm Shiv. I was here last session. We're in the end game.
I'm Hunter Green. Yeah, sure. Stuff happened, I guess.
And I'm Vincent. Krampus should be joining us soon. Yeah, we're in the end game. We have like 2.5 fights left.
Yep.
So, and yeah, the end game
So
being
like 4 hours, you say?
Yep. That's not that long. And no. Oh, hey. And there's Krampus.
It's D&D combat. It's much longer than it needs to be.
Yeah, but in video game form, this video game form is actually a lot quicker, if anything.
You're not too rusty.
I did find out that the cowards that made Baldur's Gate 3 did the same thing that this game did and capped it off at level 12 because, according to them, high-level spells are too powerful.
I mean...
Which, fair, but fuck you anyways.
Let us be powerful.
Didn't seem to stop Baldur's Gate 1 and 2.
Don't believe it.
range on that is... There we go. Behold our stealthy horn blowing.
Clumsy. You never stood a chance.
No, if anything's in range anymore, but we'll find out.
And 24? Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't remember what the range is on these cantrips.
You'll get us all killed. Ow! Ow!
Ow.
Oh, it did crit.
Yeah. Alright.
You made the foolish mistake of coming in stabbing range.
Yep. That's well over there as that one. So... damage on this.
I kind of like that.
Not to really. It's not going to last that long.
I mean, is there any reason not to action surge? You just get it back on a short rest, don't you?
There's one more, and he'll do a lot more of action surge and melee.
Arcana, Evo, Malmis.
Come on, you can do better.
Oh, hooray! Another one decided to come into stabbing range.
Yep.
Yep.
Good.
What is the range? 12.
Well,
It's likely to actually get an attack in. Alright.
Too slow.
Ah!
You suck. Arcana, Evo, Malmis.
Damn.
no, that's a solid elemental. It's at 5, but
Yeah. Sure.
Nice move.
Alright.
sure is a bunch of acid
Sure is.
and magnesium.
Sure is great for crafting stuff. Alright, so that is the last fight of that we get to short rest after. There's more area to explore, however, before we get to the final fight. 2 fights, basically. It's one after another, you don't have any interruption.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sideways house.
Sideways house indeed. First and foremost.
Show off.
How's everyone else supposed to get places?
I'm assuming opening doors do teleport stuff.
No, that's probably how.
That rock climb up Lance.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that makes sense as well.
Okay, you're tough.
You're all equally tough.
Ha!
All that stuff is down here.
Ah!
Right.
I know kids who do that faster.
Ah! Ah!
Not that any of that really matters, but
Ah! A real little goblin.
no. Can't just go and lock it.
Ah!
Ah!
Ha! Nice little warm up.
Ha!
I know kids who do that faster.
Oh, the corridor of healing stuff.
Yep. So I think the only person can actually push the. Oh no, it's up to that. Ah, I see.
Yeah.
That's a type of puzzle that is completely circumvented by just being able to climb.
I mean, these are all
Yep.
types of puzzles circumvented by being able to climb.
Not all of them, but
I mean, just think, if everyone had that ability, literally, you would be bypassing all of these quote puzzles.
Ow, we fell.
Gravity, the worst enemy.
Yeah, there's the reason why I haven't done a short rest yet. Yeah, like this room climbing doesn't help very much at all.
Not that that apparently stops Garl from showing off.
No.
That was something.
Knock this pillar down for no reason. Okay.
I was gonna say, I'm glad you knocked down the pillar on the platform that you jumped across to get to the pillar.
Well, yeah, we had to knock it over so Garl could run on the side of it.
That's fair.
Continue stunting.
He only has one thing, and man, is he gonna, just show it off.
Nice little warm up.
Why are we pushing it over? Because it's there to be pushed over.
It is part of it. Okay. Now's a good time to short rest. Roll until everyone's at full hit points, because there's no reason not to.
Yep.
With like 1 hit point. Alright. That's what. Save.
To approach the rift.
Yep. Around here somewhere. Ah, okay. There's what that is.
This is it.
Is it open again?
Hard to say. I see a bunch of soraks, but not the countless horde they're expecting.
And no god.
The crown!
They're doing it. The damn ritual.
This is it, friends. This is when we make history or die.
My advice would be to actually stop talking and go attack them.
Nope,
Nope.
nope. Let them do the ritual. Have some more conversation.
Once and for all.
I mean, technically speaking, if we die, we'll make history too, just the bad kind.
True.
History will be made either way, because history happens whether you want it to or not.
Okay, good. They give me that brief second. It's still probably worth it to do this.
Chug, chug, chug.
Potion of speed.
is all the potions buffs that we're chugging. Plus our potions. Wait, no. Keep that one. Alright.
And throw an attack real quick so your stuff doesn't wear off.
Yep. That is on range.
In the middle of action, I think.
There we go. Nah, just start a battle. Oh. Doesn't matter, he's going first.
It's okay. We're still going to throw a fireball at all of them.
Yep. Now, here's another question. Where are you guys? Over here.
Hi.
Yep, they're there.
Yep. We have help.
Briefly.
We have help for the first phase, basically.
Briefly. You'll note they shut up and sustained 100 necrotic damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they did say that they wouldn't survive being here.
Yep.
I guess good on them for actually sacrificing themselves.
Ah, fuck.
Oh. Oh, you didn't activate Fancy Power first.
Nope.
Ah, it's fine.
Oh well.
Ow, I forgot something. Oh, well.
Oh.
Add our potion for Garl.
Ah.
Too slow.
I think Gar will be fine.
It's a d4 to all attack rolls. Which, granted, doesn't help with a critical miss.
That's our girl.
Well, well.
I mean, to be fair, only 2 of 5 attacks missed. He's doing good.
Oh, do I actually could? No, I don't. Like, I didn't think I did.
Shadow murder.
Yeah, I know where you are.
Also, we know where you are, presumably because of the dragon.
Just about here.
Maybe that's actually just the stench. They stink so bad that we can see it.
You're not getting the ones in the back because you have a wall in front of you.
Yeah. You might as well go here then. There we go. That looks good. Cannot see anyone.
Can't see Gar.
See the Black Dragon.
dragon.
Why not? Should heal it as well.
Yep.
Full
Heal 2
2.
hit points.
Yeah, that sure is an abomination.
Yep.
Is this the... that's a Shar. Okay. It's a high priority target.
Yep.
Ow.
That hit.
Yeah.
Or 11, who cares?
Yeah. Okay. Ah.
Do another attack.
Huh? Isn't
You
that
have another attack. Your haste.
Oh, I'm hasted.
Tasted.
Damn it. Spells I'm not used to.
Those spells you actively made sure to put on yourself.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's the save.
Another abomination. Alright. Pretty good shot over here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you hit the gold dragon, because it should be immune.
Yeah, the gold dragon is immune. So,
You should. Can you get that abomination as well? Because they do resistant to physical damage, so getting them hit is probably a good idea.
hypothetically... Oh, wait.
But that doesn't get leader man.
No, and he's a bigger priority than the abomination even. There's a good chance you're going to counterspell this, actually. Last week, I'll cast it. It's girl. I can't even hit the leader unless I hit Garl as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Garl's past the leader, so.
Yeah, so we'll go with those guys.
Arcana Evo Malmis.
That one is no longer invisible because he's dead.
Because it is dead.
Yeah.
And the other invisible one was already dead. He got hit by Dragonfire.
Dragonfire and a Cone of Cold.
Yep. You suck.
That's a legendary action. It's the last one you'll probably commit.
That must have hurt.
Yep.
Alright, now to go work on the Sheikah. Which is the other thing with legendary actions around here.
You like it?
Alright.
hard.
Jarl's not looking too good.
I think Garl's at like half health. He's fine.
Alright. Gets both of them, but not the dragon, I think, yeah.
Yep.
Or you could counterspell it on a really
There's the
good roll.
counterspell.
Yeah. I know it has it, so... Don't really want to take 3 attacks on opportunity, so... Yeah. You
I
guys
killed
are
the Black
next.
Dragon again, if you do it onto the Black Dragon again.
It's the only thing we'll do, though.
Yeah. No, that's true, 'cause it's already inspired. Did the breath weapon last time.
Alright. Yeah, Sheikah, I know you have legendary actions.
Minor psychic damage.
Thankfully, you decide to go after the dragon. Sure.
What else are you doing with your opportunities with him?
Yeah. Ow. Yes.
Yeah.
Impressive.
No, we're good.
No, you're dead. The one behind the dragons, they're both injured, actually.
Yeah, that one's closer to dead, though.
Yeah.
We'll do one just in case.
Wait till the next one.
Alright. Alright.
Stay with us.
Yep. Go Black Dragon, I guess.
Easy on your ankles.
Arcana, Evo, Malmis.
Again.
Less than stellar attack rolls.
Yep. Alright, Carl's turn.
More.
Yep.
There's the girl we know.
Summon
Other attack.
Fourth attack.
Touche.
And, yeah.
Come
You
on,
show him,
dragon.
Goldie.
Alright.
I kind of like that. Oh!
I mean, sure.
Not too bad.
Can he? No, just barely not.
No. Garl's in the space he would need to be in.
Yeah.
Might as well shoot a wizard.
Yeah. Or not.
Try again.
Well, solve the counts. Yes.
Prepare.
Stop that.
Well, you lost concentration.
Yeah,
All right.
and you're dead.
That was kind of funny.
What do I actually have for attack spells here? Not terribly much. So,
Fourth working raising that dude.
Malmis. Won't miss next time.
what do I actually have for Garl? Fear.
Yeah, Garl feared. He's not dead. He's at 1, but he's not dead.
Too far.
Yeah, they have to be within 30 feet of each other.
Okay, I don't really care about the dragons anyways, so... it still works out well enough.
Yep.
I owe you one.
That's melee range, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where Garl was attacking from.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, you have like a handful of attacks to make. And he's dead in 1.
Yeah.
We did it.
The Magister!
He's coming back to life. What? The rift! It's open! No! Hold! I thought that was it! He said hold! We need to hold! Against a whole army?
Hodor!
He's closing the rift! Protect the Magister! Nothing else matters!
Yeah, we basically need to survive 4 rounds. However, yeah.
Hold the line.
All right. Positive is we have pretty good initiative.
Yep.
Where are they? We're on the other side of the rift. That's assassin, that's assassin, that's a shield.
Yeah, the
The shield has-
assassins are the first things to act.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the 2 assassins.
Yeah.
Sheik has legendary resistance anyways, so... I'll
3
leave all the
assassins.
actions. No, it's 2 assassins and a acolyte.
No, I mean there's. No, acolyte.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently also assassins are immune to hypnosis.
Yeah, so there are...
Actually, no, 3 assassins, because that's 3 pass saves for assassins.
What?
Yeah.
It's 2. Immune to charm, but... That's weird.
Or maybe, I think it's 2, and that's another line for the immune.
It might be,
Well, then
but
implies
there's
yeah.
it does apply another... Oh, I see, it's below the line, not...
Yeah, it's
Oh,
below the
okay.
cutoff. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the line for... Yeah.
Okay.
They got invisible, they do their bullshit.
Yep. Go shoot the Sheikah. It's hasted. Let's work on that attack.
I thought you could fight!
This seems like a great place to put a big wall of fire across that.
Sure does. Controls for this are very weird. It doesn't help the fact that I haven't done it much. Okay.
Yeah, you have a like 12 square line limit.
Basically, yeah. Sure, we'll do that.
Come at us.
Yeah, what more arcane shock we
What does the arcane shock do?
increase the... There's one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it, con save where he takes damage, but it increases, spells
At least
casted.
average value on dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cute.
Right. I'll the assist.
Good old girl.
Again, harder.
Help understand what spell it is. I don't think I actually care because it's probably fly.
It's probably fly.
No.
Oh,
Actual
oh,
damage.
guiding bolt. But he missed.
Guy Bolt does nothing on a miss.
Yep.
Alright.
Warm.
Yushika.
You die like the rest.
There we go.
And the winner is me.
Way to die at the beginning of your turn.
Light a Sorak on fire and it's warm for the rest of its life.
Thanks.
Darkest sketch. Darkest sketch.
Oh, please, this is hardly the darkest sketch.
Oh, closer to dead. Yep, it's half line.
There we go.
Alright.
Here comes a new challenger.
Over it. Oh, sure, pass the save. Nice, pretty good.
Take
Well,
that!
similarly. Yeah, maybe I've got one more attack on him. Don't think I care enough.
Arcana, Evo, Malmis.
There we go. Form! I think I'm going to go click the abomination actually.
That's battle.
Abomination successfully played with.
You'll get a nice scar.
Just have that Sheikah. I have spell slot wise. That. Nothing more difficult left on the board.
More coming your way.
No, we seem to have this fairly well in hand.
We only have to survive 4 turns, so
And this is what, the third turn? Fourth turn?
This is round 4.
Yeah.
so there is an acolyte and an abomination way over there.
Check another healing potion.
Yeah. And should save big range shot for when it does more. Lethargic. So we had just enough haste.
I was right about you. I must go now. Take care of Solasta. Take care of your world.
This cutscene brought to you by Dran Friendly.
And it was done. Never again would so many gods unite their forces to create a passage through the worlds.
Until the next time.
Thor Tar would remain on Tiamat until the end of times. But his children of darkness had set foot on Solasta and planted the seeds of evil.
Oh, there was evil in Solasta far before these people came.
Could have imagined.
It turns out they planted them in salted earth, however, so the seeds never actually sprouted.
Right.
They also didn't water them or talk to them and give them sunlight.
So that is the Solasta Crown of the Magister campaign.
Yep.
So, overall, thoughts?
It's fine.
It's I think that's the best way to sum it up. It's fine. It's definitely got rough edges, but it's charming enough that it doesn't wear out its welcome.
I think my thoughts on it, and I was thinking about this the other week actually, is the unfortunate side of adapting something like Dungeons and Dragons into a video game is that sort of by necessity eliminates a significant part of the D&D experience, which is the like more sort of non-combat aspects of it. Like you can have those, but it's very hard to build them mechanically into a game in the sort of free-form way that real play would.
Yeah.
And so it's like I can kind of understand it, but what that also does is leave you with sort of half a mechanic system, because a lot of D&D, yeah, you've got all your combat abilities, but there's also a lot of abilities and honestly a lot of classes even that have stuff that just are not focused on combat. Like pretty much half the spell book gets left, by the wayside because they're not combat spells, they're utility spells.
Especially when it comes to higher level spells, the spell lists at the higher level are basically cut into like 2 or 3 spells, because a lot of those are basically stuff that only really works with a DM around, basically.
Yeah, and so it's like for what it is and what it is designed to be, it's not bad by any means. It's just I don't think it's not a replacement for sitting around, sitting at the table for D&D,
definitely not. On the other hand, strangely enough, 5th edition makes for a really good, it makes for a really good actual strategy RPG rule set. Strangely.
Yes, definitely.
So
it's some of the best combat mechanics that D&D has ever had, just like how it flows and how it works and the actual action economy and the way it just kind of is built, that there is no class and no character that really feels just kind of like a lump. Like everyone has something to be doing.
Yeah.
And most classes have something to do with their entire action economy, no less.
Yeah. 5th edition is by no means a balanced, perfectly balanced or balanced game, but is way better than previous editions. Like fractional.
77. I know that guy.
Ah.
They did a bunch of LPs and stuff I watched back in the day.
Ah, okay. Interesting. But yeah, Celesta also has the extra challenge of, well, the part of D&D they're working with is still the open license part of D&D and not the entirety of it. So a lot of class balance and stuff that brings like marshals and casters at least a little bit closer in line. Casters still kind of win on that when you have nonsense like Hypnotic Pattern. That just kind of happens.
Yeah.
But what brings them closer in line is a lot of the feats and other subclass options that, by design, you can't actually use. As a matter of fact, it leaves Fighter and Barbarian basically with absolutely awful classes, or subclasses, because Champion is a practically nothing class, and Berserker is actively awful.
Yeah. The big thing is... Go ahead.
But I think they actually did a really good job of the stuff they added to the game actually kind of still keeping in balance with that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Their custom archetypes are pretty solid for the most part.
Yeah, between
Order
that...
of Kiermar notwithstanding being the most busted fucking channel divinity in existence.
Yeah. So busted that I forgot to use it. A lot.
Extra damage against things that have dark vision, i.e., in any D&D game, roughly 1/3 to 1/2 of the bestiary, and in this fucking game,
basically everything, and an extra die versus the main villains. So,
yeah.
But yeah, between that and while the feats are, there's not as many feats and they're not as powerful. That is more than made up for by the very liberal access to magic items, especially magic weapons, that are rather good.
Yeah, and I mean that's a balancing too, because 5th Ed feats are really less of a thing in 5th Ed overall. Like, they are there, but again, they're kind of an optional rule to begin with. And even then, when they are, if it is a rule that is implemented, they are still an option you can take as a player. And as we've mentioned in previous sessions, if we didn't start with 18s and everything, there's a decent chance we probably wouldn't have taken a feat every opportunity. We would have actually spent at least a level or two doing the more points into stats rather than taking the, 1 or no points into a stat and the extra versatility of a feat.
Which is kind of fine in Celesta, as the feats are almost more afterthoughts to the increases in stats, whereas in D&D, a lot of the feats are actually more a legitimate choice over increasing your stats.
It's about 50-50, I would say, with the actual feats in 5th Ed. A lot of them are very basic, like you get a +1 to a stat and like proficiency with shields or like whatever.
Yeah, there are some kind of bread and butter feat or filler feats basically for people who have a really specific concept and can't figure out how to get shield use or something. But yeah, when it comes to the actual like commonly taken feats like Polearm Master, Great Weapon Master, or Sharpshooter, or strangely enough Crossbow Expert.
Crossbow Expert is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think it is interesting, actually, that the timing-wise, we happened to have wrapped this up basically just after Baldur's Gate 3 launched, and has been absolutely sweeping the board. Everybody, like, it just took top Metacritic score for the year.
Huh.
And apparently, by all accounts, is amazingly good. It's on my list. Unfortunately, my list is still rather long, so I'm probably going to hold off until it's on a sale at some point, 6 months down the line to pick it up. But yeah, basically everybody has been raving about it. It's done by Larian, who did do the like Divinity, Original Sin games and that kind of stuff, which we have played in the past. And I wasn't super impressed with them, but that was more an aspect of some of the mechanical choices for their own system, since they are working within the realm of 5 Ed for Baldur's Gate. it works out a lot better, since you just actually get abilities as your character levels rather than having to have the necessary points in the requisite skills and then have all the money to buy the book for the skill.
Yeah.
Although, as aforementioned, they're fucking cowards for capping it off at 12th level.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on whether they actually make content through level 20 or actually like, okay, we're actually done with the game at 12.
No,
like,
so literally the thing that was said was they were talking about it and basically they said, yeah, it's capped at 12 because, high level spells are really powerful and unbalancing. So much so that we're not even sure how we're going to do DLC.
Yep.
So it does not sound like the intent is to have DLC expand into further levels.
I mean, the easiest way is just leave the bullshit spells out of it. It's not that hard. The thing is, like, damn it, especially when you're, like, focused on, a combat system because this is a video game, damage doesn't actually scale much with level, when it comes to spells. Firebolt starts at 8d6, and, like, Going to Cold is 8d8.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, if anything, actually, 5th Ed has an interesting thing where it's not actually the higher level spells themselves that are significant, but more so the slots, just because of the way it does the sort of modular upgrade of spells rather than having, 15 spells that do the same thing, just higher levels than the previous one that did that thing. Having the whole, like, if you can't use a higher level slot, it upgrades, blah, blah, blah. And, like, that's the thing, is, like, also the other thing, because I was talking with Krampus about this on the way home today, like, the other thing is, honestly, a lot of the really powerful spell rework that took place in 5th Ed took place at lower levels. The fact that there are, frankly, cantrips now that are actually viable damage options is, like, significant enough.
That, and since the thing that actually scales with level from spells is the DC and not the damage dice like it was in 3.5, it means those lower level spell slots still cast a viable spell. They're no longer casting a spell that's going to have a 2% chance or 5% chance of actually succeeding on monsters at best. It's like, no, the saves are still basically the same and your DCs are actually going up.
Well, I'm sure we will get to Baldur's Gate 3 eventually, but it's a pretty solid game from everything I've heard and everything I've seen. They did a really good job, and I'm actually quite impressed with that since, as previously stated, my opinion of Larian overall is not as high as a lot of people's is. But by all accounts, they apparently did a really good job with BG3.
Okay, we're not quite through the A's and the donors. Okay, there's the
Nope.
B's. Sure, no, wait.
So, sorry about that.
No problem.
From a more abstract perspective, a lot of the reason that I play a lot of, like, weird stuff from my Steam library, apart from just to get it out of my, to say I've played a massive part of the Steam library that I haven't actually touched yet, is because there's a lot of weird experiences that you find when you go, like, off the beaten path, and you find interesting games that you can't really say are, like, high-quality titles, but you wouldn't say are garbage, either. We played games like, I'm not making a good case for my point here, because I'm forgetting all the things we played Residence of Fate, and none of the three of us who were in that, or the four of us who were in that for Residence of Fate, would say that Residence of Fate is a stellar game. It was an interesting oddity, but I'm not sad that I experienced it, because it was interesting, and I think it was worthy of attention, if nothing else. And
Just wait until I hijack Thursday to play Agarest Zero.
But I think this game is the same way. It's one of those games that, like, comes out in the shadow of other things. There are bigger, more popular RPGs that are out there from companies with a bigger budget and more time to devote to it. But this one is interesting. It tells an interesting little story, and even though there's a lot of rough edges to it, I had a good time with the time we spent.
Yeah, my only real, like, counterpoint to that would be is that because because they made a big deal with this game of being like, oh, we officially licensed, the 5th Ed D&D system, even if we were using, just the OGL parts of it, and the SRD, and like build some of our own stuff. It doesn't do anything all that interesting mechanically because it is still using the mechanics of 5th Ed. It builds its own archetypes, which are, like as mentioned, are fine and solid enough. But like, it's at its core, it is just a 5th Ed D&D RPG, strategy RPG game, and I don't necessarily know that it uses that concept or implements that concept well enough to really stand out. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, you shouldn't enjoy it, or you're wrong for enjoying this. Obviously, you enjoy what you want to enjoy. I just don't necessarily think I don't think this is an uncut gem. I think this is a rock.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that to some extent. There's a few things I would like to see them do. Most notably, they could have made up spells, quite frankly, to fill in the spell list a bit more. Also, not be too afraid to play with the classes for balance sake.
I'm not going to...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm not going to sit here and claim that it was like, an emerald or a ruby or a sapphire, but I think it's a nice little piece of, like, amethyst that we've found. It's a nice conversation piece.
They polished this pyrite well.
Yeah. See, the thing that I would like to see them do, and the thing is, kind of going back to almost the first thing I brought up, is there is the possibility when utilizing a system like D&D to make a video game to build encounter design or build interactions, because there were times where we had conversations with enemies before we fought them, and those just effectively didn't amount to anything. Whereas you can build systems in, and this is something that actually happened in like the Baldur's Gate games and Icewind Dale and all those kind of games, where like there were combats that could be wholesale avoided by having the right skills and the right stats and being able to take the right conversation paths to basically convince somebody like, hey, you don't want to fucking do this.
We actually did that a few times. There were conversation paths we'd go down, and they did actually require skill checks to some extent, but yeah, it was nowhere near as fleshed out as any of the more
most of the time, those skill check conversation paths really just seemed to be, well, do you get more information out of them, or do you get like maybe an additional side quest, or do you just kind of move on with what the conversation was going anyways? There wasn't a lot of real variation, it felt.
There were fights we actually did avoid through the conversations. It might not have been completely obvious, which kind of gets into one of the lower points of the game, which is like, yeah, the writing's not great. I'm not going to pretend it is.
No, not unless I'm not going to defend the writing in this game either.
Yeah,
it's very hard to defend the writing of a game that literally at one point forgot to give us about an hour of story. Literally just jumped from point A to point B, did not explain what happened, and was just like, all of a sudden we're here and we're saying things like we're supposed to know this shit.
It does also remind me, and I don't know if anyone else in the party or in the group other than Bograt might have played this one. Does this game give you a little bit of Neverwinter Nights vibes?
Oh yeah,
out as a tool set and the roughness. I mean, Neverwinter Nights was not as rough as this game. Neverwinter Nights had
it definitely has a similar vibe, but the thing about Neverwinter Nights was Neverwinter Nights really was intended as a tool set to be able to create full D&D adventures on a digital format. I mean, it didn't do it perfect, but it had the elements in there for having roleplay and non-combat skills and like non-combat stuff going on, whereas this game does, but doesn't really utilize it all that well.
So interestingly enough, it does actually have a campaign builder, and that was one of the major things about it.
Yeah.
It's not really something I can highlight while playing on stream, but it is a thing in this game.
No. I think we mentioned it very early on, and yeah, we're aware. It is a campaign tool. It is a tool for building your tool set for using their system to build your own stories and stuff. But it's just like, I don't think even within the mechanics they've built, you could really build a more role play or conversation heavy story. It just doesn't have the infrastructure for it.
Possibly. It depends on what tools you're looking for. I would be almost interested to see what people would do with it, but that'd also require looking more into it than I'll probably have time for, honestly.
Yeah, and honestly, it didn't actually make that big of a splash, so there's not a very large community of people making content for this.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, from a going back to a mechanical perspective, they actually did a pretty good job when it came to actually like making and balancing encounters, which is a non-trivial task, especially for anyone who's played through like, say, Pathfinder First Edition modules, for example, where combats could vary wildly between completely fucking trivial and, oh god, why do you hate your players?
You know, 10 shirtless dudes showing 10 shirtless dudes showing up at our campsite at night to fuck us with knives aside.
To be fair, we had not rested, which was the whole reason why we were devoid of power.
Yeah, if I had put a short rest in, that would have actually been an issue, but minor nonsense aside.
Yeah, no, the actual encounters are solid, which again is part of why at the very beginning, credit where credit is due for what they were trying to do. They did it well for an actual like strategy combat RPG game. It's really solid. Like encounters were good. A lot of them actually had some fairly interesting stuff going on. There was actually a lot more environmental interaction points that you didn't really interact with that much because honestly, a lot of the time it was just kind of just get Garl and Andre in there and slap those motherfuckers until they stop moving. But there were the few times where we did actually interact with stuff where it was like, hey, we can drop that thing from the ceiling, and it literally just full on takes a dude out of the fight.
Yeah.
There were a lot of other environmental stuff they did, which was actually really interesting. I'm pretty sure a lot of the fights in like the lava forest we did, if we had arranged it right, we probably could have set off the explosive pods to actually deal damage to enemies and stuff like that.
Well, imagine we could have set up explosive pods or like use push actions on people who are on ledges to push them into lava.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the combat definitely had its head on right. Too much so to the point where it looks like as far as my feeling of the game is that they wanted to make a good combat sim, so that was well enough developed, minus a couple of odd things like not being able to target AoEs in the air.
Targeting,
which I imagine is just a system issue.
Basically,
but like it very much feels like it very much feels like they just kind of bolted on a story to justify their combat simulator, because their combat simulator works fine.
Yeah, no, the combat simulator is fairly good. The writing was
it was writing.
It was writing indeed. In fairness, they have some interesting broad strokes. But yeah,
it kind of comes out in the name of their company, Tactical Adventures.
Yeah. Should also be noted, from what I remember, there are that is one of actually 3 major campaigns they have. Palace of Ice, which is the same levels actually, and Palace of Ice is the expansion one. Lost Valley. Palace of Ice is the
starting level is the thing. Like the Lost Valley starts at 1, and again, I believe covers the same level range.
Yeah. So basically, the Lost Valley, which is the same idea as Crown of the Magister, going 1 to 12, and Palace of Ice starts at 12 and goes through to I think like 16.
16. And they have another one, don't they?
Possibly. Have other starting levels in here for this stuff.
Yeah. The other one might have just been like a content thing, not a campaign.
Yeah, they've got a couple like smaller adventure kind of things in there.
Yeah.
You won't see those on this stream, so
yeah. We might come back to this later, or we might not. Who knows?
We've had enough for now.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not going to continue going through 2 Palace of Ice. Ugh. But yeah, in general, This game was a fun playthrough for me. I mean, like, if you like strategy RPGs, it's actually a pretty good strategy RPG. If you're looking for story or a immersive sim, I think is the correct term
Mute
for
the
that.
cutscenes and make your own dialogue. It'll probably be better.
I do, as an aside, one of the things I do at least like in concept is the actual alignment personality responses where we've somehow turned the entire party into bloodthirsty murderers.
They know their audience.
I also like that we somehow fucked up their personalities so bad that we got the actors' lines to not match the subtitles constantly.
Yep.
I think that's just a thing with this game in general, regardless of what personalities you have. Yeah, I think it's like, they use the script for subtitles and didn't actually listen to what the actor said. It doesn't help the fact there's also like 4 different voices, which are probably acted differently, and...
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was also a lot of sameness with voices and character look, but that's also just more of a budget thing, so I'm not gonna really get a knock on that. It's like you can only do so much when it comes to that. It's like they don't have an infinite budget or anything. But yeah, I think that's about all I can think of. Anyone have anything else to say?
I pretty much covered all of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing else on Solasta.
Yep. Alright. So, yeah. That concludes Solasta for us. Join us on Sunday for SD Gundam G Generation Cross Rays as we get into
Awakening of the Trailblazer.
Yeah. Awakening.
Awakening. Yeah.
Yes.
Only one. Just
Not
one.
awakening, just a awakening. It's not that important.
That's just awakening. A single awakening.
Kick 'em out.
No.
He does it every morning.
Yep. Join us on Monday for our Pokemon Scarlet Wonder Trade run. I'm not sure what Tuesday is might or might not be at the moment. And I'm not sure what Thursdays might or might not be at the moment either, because
We'll be back with something on Thursday, but we don't know what yet.
Transitionary period.
yes. But yeah, until then, I'm Vincent.
I've been Bograt.
I've
I've been Krampus.
I'm Hunter Grain.
And I'm Vincent. And goodbye, everyone.